How you doing, guys?
So first off, I want to ask you guys, so at what point did you realize that Judge Dredd had to be given proper justice and to erase the crimes of the past? And when was the property available to go back in, and who thought to do that?
1994/5.
Nobody standing up here, actually. It was two of the producers, Andrew McDonald and Ron Wright, realised they could get hold of the property, and it was relatively cheap. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm crap at this, excuse me. Two producers got hold of it. They asked me if I wanted to work on it, and I said yes. I'd read the comics since I was a kid. I was dead keen to do it, and then immediately very nervous about whether we do a good job or not.
And what attracted you to the project?
Alex's script. It just blew me away. Really. He had such a strong vision for the whole film right from the beginning, and just the whole desire to make it real, to go back to what the comics were trying to do. That was kind of inspiration.
And Carl, to choose a great role where no one gets to see above here. What attracted you to this? Why did you decide to leap into this character?
Well, I'm a long-term fan of Dredd. I read the comics as a teenager, and when I heard that there was a reboot in the works, my initial reaction was, somewhat trepidatious. But I read the script, and the script that Alex wrote was so engaging, so character-driven, and action-packed. It was a page-turner. Once you started reading it, you couldn't put it down. And to me, that's always a really good indication. And from there, I just kind of looked at the sum of the parts that were involved, and decided from that point that the character and the material was being treated with respect and with authenticity. As a long-term fan, I felt like this was something that was going to be a worthwhile project, and so I wanted to be involved with it.
And Pete, this for you and Alex. Can you talk about the choice of DOP for the visuals? Because it's really incredibly striking.
I think we spent, Alex and me and everybody in the team spent a long time at the beginning watching films together, trying to figure out how we would do this, and we were looking for a very specific aesthetic that would make it seem real and at the same time beautiful. And Anthony Dodmantle, who Alex had worked with before, kind of read the script and loved it, and we were just blessed to have him. Everything about the film that looks extraordinary is all down to his talent. He seemed to elevate the whole film to another level. He managed to make it feel real and tough and hard, and yet at the same time extraordinarily beautiful.
And you'd worked with him before on 28 Days Later, and he's...
Yeah, yes, on 28 Days, and he definitely, Anthony gave what could have been a zombie flick, he elevated it in all sorts of ways. He does that helplessly, it's just the way he is. I think on this film, it was actually partly his work on Antichrist that made him feel like the right guy. I mean, he's a lovely guy, and just a dream to work with in all sorts of ways. But particularly the drug, the slow-mo drug, we needed to make that really beautiful, not sort of name-check beautiful or obvious beautiful, but really something like transcendent. And I can't think about the film without thinking of Anthony, because he did so much. The way the drug works is so important to this movie. It's a drug movie, really. You should drop acid and watch it.
We've got samples in the auditorium, just in case you need them.
And Carl, can you talk about the challenges of the action with the mask? I mean, was there kind of
The helmet.
the helmet? I mean, was there a limited range when you had the helmet on?
No, that was a huge challenge. The eyes are one of the most important tools that an actor has, and to take that away was a huge challenge. It was daunting. What I realized was that, you know, I had to focus on the other aspects, the other elements that were available to me. You know, the voice and the physicality of the character, how you do what you do. But the interesting discovery that I made during the process was having faith. Just having faith in the script, having faith in the storytelling capabilities of the script, and then further to that, having faith that if you think the thought and feel the emotion, then the audience will too. And to me, that was the most interesting discovery of the whole process.
We've got time for a couple quick questions from the audience. So here.
Yeah, Carl, you're on screen virtually every shot, and you're unwavering. How do you keep that intensity through a shoot like this?
Because that's my job. That's what they pay me to do. I don't know how to answer that.
What was your biggest challenge? What was your biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge? The biggest challenge was, it was probably, I couldn't define it singularly, but it was really the entire picture. It was the 14 weeks that I spent in a gym beforehand. It was the 2 weeks of military training that I undertook to do this role. And then it was the 3.5 months of shooting in a South African summer, wearing a leather motorbike suit and body armor and a helmet. You know? But it was worth it. I tell you, it was worth it. There are some points in your career where you're doing something and you can't believe that they're actually letting you do this. And I felt it on the Bourne Supremacy when I was allowed to do the reverse 180 in the Mercedes G-Wagon, and I felt it in this film. I felt it in this film where I'm riding through the streets of Cape Town in wearing my full Dredd uniform, riding the Lawmaster, and I'm like, they're letting me do this? This is insane. It was just one of those moments.
Thank you.
What else do we have?
Carl, who's your favorite Dredd artist, and would you fellows mind autographing my helmet?
Hey, where'd you get that? Because I lost one. That looks just like my trailer.
The question was, who's your favorite Dredd artist?
My favorite Dredd artist? Well, look, I have to, obviously, the Colours Square, the visual creative artist of Dredd. I just have a huge admiration and respect for. Jock is another huge one. You know, we took a great deal of attention to what all of the artists had contributed to the legacy of Dredd, and you can see that in the film. You can see that even, for example, in the poster, in the Dredd poster. Basically, Alex and I were in Cape Town, and we were brainstorming as to conceptually what could we possibly come up with what would be a definitive, appropriate poster, and we had a bunch of resource material, a bunch of comics and stuff, and there was America right in front of us, and there was that iconic panel of Dredd standing there over the American flag saying, what do I stand for? And there's like, justice, and then outlining, and it was just, boom, that's it. So, it's all of that.
All right, anyone else? Anyone up in the balcony?
How many bad guys got blown away?
That was 458? 459.
And there's in the back there, yes.
Has the film been screened in South Africa, and if so, how?
Not yet, no. Carl's taking it there, you're going to take it.
I'm going to take it there, and it's going to be received so good.
And let's see, here, yes, in the middle.
We saw some tips of the hat to Blade Runner, especially the little wire copper animal that was sitting there. I'm wondering what we might have missed in references to other films, particularly Blade Runner, perhaps.
Can I just say the wire animal wasn't actually a reference to Blade Runner. It was actually one of the construction guys just built it. he made a tree, a sort of brass wire tree. And then it got used in the foreground of the shot. And then a whole bunch of them sat around and just made them. It should have been a reference. It was a reference.
But the original monologue actually started with, "They don't advertise for killers in the newspaper." I just felt it was too derivative, so we could...
Was there any point with the dialogue where you're like, that's too much, he's saying too much? Like, did you always keep it reined in the script?
I tried to, and then Carl cut it all in half. There were two people. John Wagner, who was the writer that created Dredd, also worked on the film. And he trimmed the dialogue a lot. And then Carl did exactly the same. The key about Dredd is he just doesn't talk too much. He doesn't smile, he doesn't kiss girls, he doesn't talk too much.
Yeah, I arrived in Cape Town, and Alex and I had a script meeting, and I opened my script, and he looked over it, and he saw that I had all these lines drawn through my dialogue, and he's like, what have you done? And I was like, look, man, I love this dialogue, but, you know, Dredd says less. And he looked at me and he kind of smiled and he said, funny you should say that, because, you know, I showed John Wagner, the creator of Dredd, an early draft of this script, and one of his few notes, he said he loved the script, one of his few notes was, Dredd says less. And the script that I got was the script after you took dialogue out, so he ended up taking more out.
And here.
The sensitive moments in the film, is that down to you, Pete, or down to Alex's writing?
I think it's down to a whole team. The sensitive moments are in the script, and the playing of the sensitive moments are down to the actors and everybody involved. This was a very collaborative film right from the beginning, perhaps the most collaborative film I've worked on, and I think we were blessed with a team, an extraordinary team of people in all departments, really, who were so kind of took the vision that Alex had and kind of like ran with it. That was what was enjoyable about it.
So let's give a round of applause for the creators. Let's start our Dredd.
There's the helmet.